you doing a workshop that was actually uh, made for all of you, all the MCJ students, free courses. But I could not see most of you in the second half. Okay, you could have joined this workshop, although I did not make it mandatory. Looking at the response of the class and attendance of the class, I could not think that it would be wise on my part to make that workshop mandatory. But mandatory for fourth semester students, but it is essential on your part to show some respect and regard to the senior faculty members and come from outside and who happen to be former associate professor of this department and head of this department. Anyways, today I am going to discuss about political campaigns. Today I have picked up one topic, and perhaps it will be relatable to what I have discussed and what we have discussed during the seminar. Okay, so before we go to the definitional part, okay, so that I will deal with later. So, okay, what is political campaign? How to go about political campaign is more important. Okay, so all of you know what is political campaign, the definition of political campaign, you know. So we don't need to restrict ourselves into the definition. Rather, it is important for us how to create a message for political campaign, how to make a campaign manual for even targeting the voters. How will you target the voters? How we work on the message, campaign message. Okay, so how to look at the issues. Okay, and how to give the importance to this to these issues. Okay, and also determine the position and the role of the candidate on its issues. Okay, each issue which are being taken. So it is very important on your part to first understand how to prepare a campaign manual. So what comes to your mind when I tell you political campaign? Briefly you tell in even not in 2 minutes, in 1 minute, I'll tell you the definitional part and scope of it. What comes to your mind when I ask you about political campaign? How it is different from even a health campaign or you say an advertisement. Political campaign is a strategy to persuade voters, right? So in order to persuade voters, this is a marketing strategy to even to win a party in the election, to win a candidate in the election. Now, when we talk about campaign, campaign has some specificity. Then the other form of campaign, political campaign has some form of specificity. When I said it's specificity, it has that you say that individualism and another point is emotionalization. Okay, and we also might say that privatization. So these are certain features which will make political campaign a distinct one, distinct from hit campaign. So apart from the statistics, figures, and other technique like we usually use the star power, we use the patriotism, we use the family, we use the gender, we use whistle word. These are some of the technique you might have heard, which are usually used to make an ad, right? Make a campaign even or a political or any campaign to use. So here in political like field, so when you talk about the campaign, what is important is to understand whether the features like private this private life, emotionalization, or you see that individualism is being triggered or not. When you talk about this emotionalization, it is all about being very connected to people, making a just for kind of attitude, and you actually trigger the emotion of the people, being very friendly to them, talking with their personal life, talking about their children, their future. Okay, that part is very important. So, and that has what made political campaign a distinct one. And we talk about this individualism. When we talk about the individualism, we actually focus more on the candidate rather than the party. And that is one very distinctive feature nowadays in political campaign, because here also we talk about populism now. We try to create a narrative or you say a style which is very people specific, right? People oriented. So here we try to create a narrative strategy to relate to people. So your image is drawn out of people. So you actually resolve certain issue um, which are being sown, or even which are being demanded by the people, or even taken by the people as important. So those issues you have actually triggered, or you have targeted, or you have taken, right? And that's how you say individualization or individualism lies in political campaign. So the very basic features of political campaign is the private life. That is what private life is different from individualization. Because private life is all about bringing your private self, your family, your mother. So what Modi usually does, right? Bringing his mother, is taking, like that taking that Asirvad and blessings from his mother. So this is a kind of element where we can see his private life is being drawn. Okay, so private life is also is one part of one feature of, you see, political campaign, or that is a distinctive feature of political campaign, and that makes political campaign different from other campaigns. Second is this celebratization is also there. Celebratization is the equivalent to star power, which is usually not used in most of the other campaign. In advertising, it is used nowadays, but where politicians, by celebritization, politician is trying to, trying to project himself like a celebrity. He himself is a celebrity, not like a public figure. So celebrity is a public figure, but when you say public figure, is something which is much more concerned with public issues. So that is the difference between a celebrity and the public. So we often try to, confer celebrity status on us, but not necessarily conferring a celebrity status on us will turn to be a public figure, right? That is a celebrity status, and celebrity status is different from public figure. Public figure is the one who usually takes care about that public issues. So all the public issues are supposed to be taken care of by that public figure. Okay, so celebritization is one when you usually, you see, you discuss about private life, you discuss about, stories, your day-to-day stories, your routine stories with people, and every day you create a platform for making stories. You give at least scope to people. People can make stories out of your private life, out of your action, out of your performances. Okay, so that is what is celebritization. So that is another very, you see, crucial and key feature of you see political campaign. And the third one here we notice about this privatization, sorry, individualization. When you say individualization is all about giving more priority to you. So more priority to the candidate. So how to create a priority to the candidate, or create prominence or importance towards the candidate. So there are certain technique also for giving importance to individualization. Certain techniques, political techniques are there. But apart from that, when we talk about the individualization, it is also related to emotionalization. And both private life and individualization is related to emotionalization. That is the now feature nowadays in political campaign. Everywhere you will see the, how politicians try to appeal this emotions of the people by being by exposing their private self, by even being nostalgic to even past experience, and also being very friendly, and also so that he's also a human being. So to add is human, so it can possible. He has also emotions. So he focus on that element. So individualization is a sort of populist, you say, agenda, or you say populist propaganda. Now, when we talk about the populism is very, very important nowadays for political campaign. Okay, so we have distinct techniques are there. So in those techniques, political techniques also, we get to see populism is quite inherent. So populism is inherently authoritarian as well as inherently democratic. So you cannot say that populism is only democratic. Populism is equally authoritarian, right? So when we see authoritarian dimension of populism, we actually see how Modi has projected himself. His growth strategy is not populist; it is anti-populist, right? But his style is based on populism. His the way of speaking, way of delivering, his political style, the narrative which surround his personality is based on populism. But his growth strategy is not based on populism, right? So you see, you can actually identify it, you can analyze it on the basis of some of the photographs. You see, these campaign photos are there, action photos. We usually see campaign literature. You're making some campaign literature, right? When you make those campaign literature, so you will definitely understand his populist style. He talked about that Vikas Purush, that is development man, is coincided with various discussions in televisions, right? And the radio, how he cultivated relationship with the mass media to project himself, and also some of the element of the message, how he developed the slogan and the names to even create a populist aura about himself. It's all about himself. See, his style is populism, but his policies are not based on populism. So populism is actually it tries to create a leader, an image of a leader out of like, some of the crises which population demands immediate response. So okay, so leader is born out of it. So it is also a style of the leadership style to address some of the issues. Okay, so by being very to the point, or at the same time by very being very nasty also. Okay, so this is and it is related to people's sovereignty. So when you talk about this populism, it is something related to people's sovereignty. Okay, so people's sovereignty, that part we will be discussing because it is something very political. So we will be discussing about dictatorship and different authoritarian style, and about different sovereign head, which is very very important when we discuss about the state and nation and all. So first, it is important for you because I'm going to give you an assignment. So in these 3 days, I'm taking leave. I'm telling you that I'm taking leave and going somewhere else for a week. Okay, so in between this week time, so you will finish that assignment. I'm going to come up with some assignment, give you some assignment. You work on this assignment and you submit in the Google Group. So I'm sharing that link with you. Okay. So hence I have started this topic. So that was the reason. Okay, so you understand. So briefly, in 1 minute, I'll discuss about what political campaign is all about. So it has got these three features like private life, celebritization, and individualization. So it is a strategy to persuade voters to make a candidate win, to make a party win in the election. Right, and that's how it is different from advertising campaign, it's different from a health campaign. So health campaign has also a target audience, but here in political audience, you cannot say that it doesn't have a target voters. It has target voters, but basically it is meant for all population. We talked about universal adult franchise, but when you develop a campaign manual, campaign plan, definitely you need to think about your target population. Okay, so we will move to that campaign manual now. It's very very important, but to focus on these three very aspects which will make a political campaign distinct from other very campaign. Emotionalization is very very important, but yeah.
Three features are private life, emotionalism, or
The,
celebration.
actually, the emotionalization involves everywhere, and especially in private life and individualization. But usually, like we mistake private life with individualization. Individualization is all about creating importance and prominence for you for your own. So that is what the importance. How will you create some narrative for your own? So and make people get persuaded to you. So that is what is individualization. But private life is all about your personal life. Okay. So politician is a public figure. So public figure is not equated to celebrity. Let me tell you. Because public figure is the one who is always concerned about public issues. So celebritization is one, always create a platform for people to discuss about him only, or her and her and her. So like that way. So giving some scope to people to discuss about the issue. So every day he has created some stories for himself and let people discuss about the stories for him, and that's how he creates celebrity status for himself. Even at times he can use star power also. That is one technique, star power. He can use star power to get an endorsement, particular endorsement. Endorsement is one kind of strategy in this campaign. So there are different strategies. Vassal word, which can also be used. You might know. Vassal word that actually lacks detail. Vassal word. I'm thinking. So like thinking is a vassal word. Even if you talk about democracy, that is also a vassal word, most of the time. Okay. So when we talk about the vassal word, so WASEL, WASEAL. This is one thing. It lacks essentiality. Okay, it is used in most of the political ad in political campaign you get to see. But I'm going to tell you so how to prepare for a political campaign. First is that so before we discuss about this technique, there are different techniques of like Wasserford is one. Then you also have this called use of cartoon animation. So you all know about this how to create drama. Okay, among the people. Then this patriotism is one. Patriotism. So that to make to create an impression that you actually think about the country. Okay, so the gender is one. It's very, very important. Okay, these are some of the techniques. Now when you talk about this political campaign, so it is very, very important to have geographic targeting. First is you need to know about your geography. You need to know about the constituency. You need to know about like as a candidate if you are or if you are a campaign manager or a professional, you need to know about the geography that candidate is standing for. Okay, that the constituency is standing for. Okay, is contending. So that is geographic targeting is very, very important. So geographic targeting is different from demographic targeting. Okay, so one first we have in this campaign, in political campaign, so what we have is geographic targeting. So after geographic targeting, we have demographic targeting. I'm going to tell you the difference between the two. So demographic targeting is also there. After geographic targeting, you have demographic targeting. Demographic targeting is all about people profiles, When you talk about the geographic targeting, you actually go for studying the constituency, basically, the transport areas, the political landscape, what are the issues which are being addressed in last 5 years, so like that. So this is an overall targeting, geographic targeting, how many populations are there. Okay, so population and whether they are willing to vote or not, whether they are apathetic, whether they are willing to vote. So that is one part. Then political landscape of that, whether they're optimistic or pessimistic about politics. So it's very, very important. Whether they feel good about last election or like good about this coming election or the kind of feelings they do have, kind of mood they do have. So everything comes under geographic targeting. Okay, when you talk about the demographic targeting, it is all about profiling. Okay, demographic targeting. So the basic profiling of that geography, that constituency. So in demographic targeting, what you will basically do, you will study the profile of the population, age-based population, their gender-based, their education-based. In that way, you will try to try to create different subset of population. Okay, cross sections of populations. You will actually identify, and then you will study their features, their interests, their hobbies. Okay, and their issues, their concerns, their preferences. So you will study everything. Okay, so it's very, very important. Demographic targeting is very, very important for political campaign. Suppose in one district, if you actually have a gender-based profile, man and women, 50% man, 50% women, right? So after dividing population based on gender, what you were supposed to do, you were supposed to study the cross section of this gender population, a subset of gender population. Okay, gender population, there are people who are, there are women who are working. So they constitute another group, working women. Working women and mother, working women, unmarried. Working married women, married working women, and mother. Married women, but not mother. So married women who are mother, so definitely they do have another issues related to children. Okay, where to keep their children. So okay, now when you target them, so you need to find out like where to get them. So place where do you usually get them. So you have to be very accurate, not to make that subset of population very minute or very small group, because in that case anyhow you will lose out your play. So okay, so you need to find out how how many people will will come and cover into that like subset of population is very important in geographic targeting or geographic composition. So geographic profile is important. Sorry, not geographic, demographic targeting. And demographic targeting is different from geographic targeting. Geographic targeting is very basic form of targeting, basic form of understanding the territory, the four boundaries, understanding the mood of the people even, like understanding the transport system because you need to recruit volunteers, right? Volunteers will be recruited, will be even sent through household to household or even across the constituency. You need to provide them the transport facilities. You need to understand the road conditions or even the electricity, so everything. The kind of resources which are available in that particular geography is very important. Okay, and also the availing political landscape of that geography, whether people are interested in politics or not. If people are very apathetic, there's no point you will waste your time, right? Apathetic about the politics. So it's very important to understand the people's political affiliation, their values, certain practices, okay, and also their attitude to parties and their preference of leader is very important. So that is everything is part of geographic targeting as well as part of demographic targeting. Demographic targeting is action oriented, much more action oriented. You actually go and you carry out a sociological research. It's very important to carry out a sociological research. Okay, in order to have a accurate demographic profiling. And many a time campaign you also see you all this campaign, political campaign, get failed because of inaccurate identification of data, inaccurate database of populations, as well as self-identification of leader in the population. Most of the time, political leader and a candidate who is standing for the post cannot even identify himself with the population's interest and the preferences. That is one reason why the political campaign usually gets failed. And also demographic profiling is very important as well. So it will provide you the accurate data set of the population, and also self-identification, inaccurate data, and most of the time you see you do not know some of the external forces. When you say external forces, you need to study the opponent. Very critically, you need to study the opponent. Okay, as a campaign manager, you need to study the campaign, that candidate's opponent. Very critically. Okay, his interest, his importance, prominence, so like his that popularity in that particular region is very important. Okay, then only you can make a candidate win. So it's all about your strategy. How to make a candidate win, right? So and also then we'll come to message. Message is also very important. So in geographic and demographic targeting, what is important, as I have already told you, is to have accurate population subset and understanding the norm, values, attitude, and preference of leadership style of this population. Now, when you talk about the values, what are the values that population might have? This is also part of demographic targeting. Okay, or you might say geographic targeting. More than geographic targeting, in demographic targeting, you will understand the values, norms of the population in demographic targeting. And within demographic targeting, we usually develop a voter contact list. Okay, developing a voter contact list is very important. So this is very important. So you may find, so this is another exercise, developing a voter contact list. So first you need to identify potential voters. Then you identify the likely voters. Then first likely voters, sorry. Then potential voters. Then non-voters are there. So these are basic three groups of voters. So one is likely voters. So who will always support you? You know because they do have unconditional faith on you that you can address certain issues. So those are likely voters. Okay. So anyhow, you need to invest time on them. You cannot simply say that okay, they are going to vote for me, so they will make me win. So I don't need to invest much time. Yeah, don't need to invest much time, but you need to invest time on them. Okay. So because to continue that persuasion, so it is all about voters' persuadability. So okay, in voters contact list under demographic profiling, when you talk about voters, you will develop a voters contact list. So you will actually find out, suppose there are 50% women, out of 50%, 40% working women, okay, working women, and out of 25, okay, 25 working women, there are 20% women who are mother. And also you need to find out, like, how many voters is registered voter. There are 20,000 children, they are unregistered voters. So anyhow, that will come under demographic profile, right? So 20,000 voters are there who are not registered. So anyhow, you are supposed to drop a few figures from the statistics, right? That comes under the demographic profile. Okay? And then after 20%, these are this working women mother. Suppose you have an issue to address them. Okay, again, there are also senior citizens. Suppose another 20% is senior citizen. So they do have separate issues. Now you develop a list of issues which is made for the senior citizen, develop a list of issues made for working mother with children, develop a list of issues with develop a list of issues for even children, because that cater to the needs and interest of the mother. Okay, like that way. So you can develop. You can also develop issues based on your target voter contact. So now when you develop a voter list, before you develop a voter list, you also need to identify gathering point places where they usually gather. So it's very, very important. Okay, gathering places and assembly point where you usually gather, where you can actually distribute the literature handouts. So literature drop and literature handouts are different. You know, na? Literature handouts are different than literature drop. What is literature drop? If you go for door-to-door campaign, you will actually go for literature drop. As a volunteer, you will simply drop that literature. You will not talk to that household because you do not have time. You need to finish your target. Okay, you need to finish 100 household in a day. So you simply drop that literature. That is literature drop. When you talk about literature handouts, yeah, handouts, then you need to have an issue with it. In literature drop, you don't need to have an issue. Okay, you don't need to have an issue. You develop a campaign literature, you drop it across the household at the doorstep. So that is literature drop. You don't need to develop face-to-face contact, meeting, anything. But when you talk about this literature handouts, there you need to develop an issue around. Suppose an issue of a factory has been closed down. Okay, so you invite those factory workers and you develop a literature how to deal with that issue, and you distribute the handouts. So you are dealing with the issue and you will distribute the handout with an issue. So there, that issue is getting a mention, right? So issue is getting a mention. At the same time, personally also you are addressing the issue. So you may be a volunteer, you may be not a campaign professional, definitely a volunteer, you may be a volunteer to address the issue, as well as candidate himself can address the issue. Okay, are you getting? So you also need to note those assembly point, those spaces where people gather. Okay, when you address an issue, and that too based on demographic profiling. And once you have an accurate demographic profiling, you will go for voter contact list, developing a voter contact list. Okay, how will you contact the voters? How will you contact the voters? So contact the voters. There are different techniques. All those marketing techniques will also be used here. So endorsement is there, door-to-door campaign. Door-to-door campaign is quite viable, or even it doesn't need much money, but it's very time consuming. There are three resources. One is people, one is money, and one is time. Okay, three very important resources for political campaign: time, money, and people. Now, it is very, very important on your part how to use those resources in each of the targeting technique, or you see, in each of the campaign strategy. There are campaign strategies are there, like door to door is campaign strategy. You talked about earned media is praise. How you will use the praise is an earned media. So how will you use a praise to even send send the message, spread the message of the campaign? Because anyhow, mass media has a greater visibility, always give you a greater visibility. Even door-to-door campaign is very time consuming, right? But at the same time, you can persuade people. And with 100%, it is trustworthy also. You can persuade people. You can talk to them, discuss about their problem. You can also go for that individualization component, emotionalization. So you can discuss about their issues. So in that way, you can persuade people. But the thing is that you don't have much time. So you need to target 3,000 voters, 3,000 voters. So if you phone them also, it will take individually you phone them how many days. Suppose you say 200 days, and if you target that I will finish 100 or yeah 100 in in a day. So it is not possible, right? So you need to recruit volunteers. And volunteers, when you recruit volunteers, what is important is whether they are the actual loyalist or not. So there are three types of volunteers. One are the loyalists. They are loyalists of the ideology. Just because they have similar ideology, similarity or interest, similar interest with the party, they are affiliated to that party, and they also like to volunteer for the candidate. That is one kind of loyalist. Second loyalist is basically looking for some job opportunities. So they join as a volunteer, they look for some of this opportunity, job opportunity. Okay, that is one kind of loyalist. Third loyalist is also there, who are basically the friends, relative of that candidate and the representative. So three kinds of loyalists are there. So you need to identify the loyalists by recruiting the volunteers. So everything comes under this developing voter contact list. Okay. So when you talk about the voters, there are also three kinds of voters: likely voters, potential voters, and non-voters. So likely voters who can always support you. Suppose you have to divide the geographic constituency as per geographic targeting. Constituency A is yours, this district is yours. Okay, so definitely people will support you. These are likely voters. And candidate constituency B is for that candidate. Suppose in district half of the villages are yours, so definitely they will vote for you, and half of the villages will not vote for you because that other candidate has a good rapport with the community. So you have no chance to develop any kind of persuasion plan with that segment. So definitely you will target the the section C. Okay, there is another segment of population. So which are not touched by section A and section B. Like that way, you need to divide the constituency. Constituency, this is based on geographic targeting, not on demographic targeting. Like based on the house or based on the villages. So like some of the villages comes under A. So your candidate represent that A number of the villages, 40 villages are there. Another candidate, so here another not 40 villages, another six villages. Or there is also C, there it is not decided yet. So it's a waste of time for you to even go to village B and the six villages which are under that candidate, which are actually persuaded, people of which are persuaded by it, and rather it's important for you to go to C. So that is important to develop a voter contact list, and then you also need to develop some issue before you voter contact list. You need to work on the issues which are very very important. So issues that it that concern those voters. Like what are the issues concern us? Inflation is one, right? Pension is one. Need a good pension scheme. But employment is an issue, right? We are talking about Rozgar Mela. Rozgar Mela is also a kind of soft power that we use. Rozgar Mela, we are creating employment for you. But at the same time, when you talk about the populism, we have been talking about the populism, right? You see, here it is very, very important when we actually develop a message. So after you voter developing the voter contact list, you think about the message. What will be the message? And message are connected to issues. Are you getting me? Are you getting what I'm delivering to you? Okay. So things are overlapping. Okay. And hence, if you had any difficulty or somehow you got distracted, so you simply tell me. Okay. So what is important is that to develop the issue, and also issue selection is very very important to develop the message of the campaign. So technique of voter contact and voter targeting will also be discussed. As we all know. So we have that first. Okay. First we discuss about the message. First voter might say campaign strategy. Sorry. Campaign strategy. Tell me some of the campaign strategy. Quality discuss video. Use door to door. This one. Praise. Door to door.
and recruit volunteers.
On media. Then preset events. Then organize events. Then visibility. Endorsement. Okay. Then you have phoning.
Can traditional and folk media be also part?
On media. So endorsement. Then after endorsement, you say phoning. Right? Later is your drop.
What is after endorsements?
Phoning. Later is your drop. Preparation handouts.
So email marketing will come under folk media or reservation? Under email marketing, like
Email, internet web page. Right?
Even social media also.
Yeah, social media. That's what social media.
Then one thing I want to ask, like, a lot of politicians use social media for campaigning, as in, there comes Twitter, where the politicians actually directly in contact. So ma'am, both are like, of course, both are social media, but the way they are communicating, campaigning, that are different. So are
Recent
they
events.
comes differently or come in the same like, so for example of Instagram is used for campaigning only, like where you send this space the green traffic. On Twitter, suppose you are tagging out ask question, ask, then DM tags.
Preset event of yes.
Social media is used, but the way of communicating is so that both of them will count as different.
When you now, but the thing is that when you talk about the social media has a role to creating the personality of the politician. That might also create another question, so that might also question for you to answer. So when you talk about how social media has created personality of the politician, okay, or how social media has cultivated the populist personality of populism is very, very important. Okay, populism is very, very important. When you talk about the social media, there are different varieties. So email, now you see email has got also different features. Now, when the media is participating in network lead, okay, that is turned to social media. Because it has the provision to co-create message, share message, exchange message, right? So that has made the media social media. So when you talk about the social media, it's very, very important to find out some of the features like this, discursive features, category features there. So which I have discussed perhaps in the first class or so that is what is like the first semester. So that participatory features are there. In social media, there are participatory features, linking features are there. Suppose in web 1.0, there is no link, static web pages. Now we have interactive web pages. When there is an interaction, so you have much more participation. Okay, adopter interactions are there through which you can actually participate, invite participation. Right, and that's why the social media. Why social media? Because you can even create a collective, you can also talk to others, right? So it makes you more social.
Drop.
Social, these social development, like that is like the human value, we all are like a social being, right? So this media helps us to create collectives, to co-create documents, to co-create any kind of message, right? To exchange, and that's why social media. So there are different varieties. You talk about Instagram, you talk about like Twitter, huh?
Episode to mail or episode to
Talk show, meet action. These are different different forms of social media. Okay, so they do have different like roles. So when you do career research, you need to be very particular about one particular Instagram or because it's not easier for you to even take all the media or club of media together and then you study. So you can have a mention about it in this literature. But when you talk about the role of social media in creating a focus personality or a focus era, definitely, yeah, you see, it has actually suffers with expense. So when you talk about this email also, you can have a distinct targeting. Distinct targeting, target in the sense you can through email, you can target even the student section, you can target the senior section of this population, right? You can target the women folk through email by discussing an issue, and a separate issue can be also discussed. Yeah. So that's right. So you have internet web pages. So I'm not going to discuss much. You all know about this internet web pages through which you can actually distribute the message. And then email is one through which you can have varieties of the target address. Okay, through email. And then you have literature handouts and literature drop. Difference of both these handouts and drops I have already discussed. It's fine. Are you feeling sleepy? Okay. I have been shouting a lot. Why you are feeling sleepy? This morning is one. Okay. And then we talk about endorsement. Endorsement is all about getting so endorsement. When you talk about endorsement, endorsement is getting getting a rapport with media personnel, with civil society organization, representative of civil society organization, from which you can get endorsement or you can get a favorable perspective. So it's very very important endorsement. So getting a good rapport and building rapport with media personnel or with media house, with corporate business. So from which you can get an endorsement. From celebrity, you can use the star power. So you can also use the star power as an endorsement. Okay, that is one technique even to spread your campaign message. And then we talk about this organized events, which are also events which are very controlled event. So where you actually decide how many likely voters will come. You also give them money, distribute give them some kind of that's what some gifts or token of gifts and persuade them to come even to attend that event. So organized event is there. So it's very common.
What's the difference between preset and organized?
Yeah, preset event, when you say preset event, this is beyond this campaign event. There is some event which is actually you are not supposed to make this event, but preset events are those events which are beyond your campaign plan. Suppose in all these techniques, these are some of these strategies, not yeah, you may also say techniques, strategies through which you can spread the campaign message, right? But here in preset events, you do not have a control. You won't actually identify. You organize an event, okay? So you have certain message definitely. Then you wait for people to come and to visit that mela. So any kind of mela also organize. So you in the preset you can link visibility like through billboard, even through distributing T-shirt where name of the candidates is there, name of the party is there, or distributing that cards and all. Okay, car caravan. These are part of preset events. So before organize a preset event, you actually go for a visibility. So but a preset event is not controlled because usually you do not give any kind of token bonus or any kind of gifts to people and also persuade them to join that event. Okay, so first you actually create a visibility for the candidate and then you organize an event. This is not controlled event. So people may come, people may also come and criticize you, or you can also organize a mela. So these events, preset events are these events are not that organized. This is not actually meant for that targeted voters or likely supporters. This is for all. Okay, first you create a visibility with the help of car caravans, with the help of distributing t-shirt, then shirt, or even through traditional earned media, mass media, you create a visibility, and then you can create an event. Event you can create and invite them. So, or maybe you can also see are not simply addressing this the masses or the voters. So organized events are meant to address the masses where you criticize the opponent. You will criticize the opponent, not necessarily here in preset even you will criticize the opponent. So you will actually invite the likely not likely non-voters to get attracted to your campaign plan. So it is outside your campaign plan. Okay. So preset event is outside your campaign plan, but when you talk about the organized event, these are something which is a part of your campaign plan. Okay, so here you are supposed to address the non-voters because this is very, very important. You will address the voters of the C constituency. There are three constituencies are there. If you divide it, three set of constituencies. First set of constituencies, second set of constituencies, and the third. So third are non-voters, are very apathetic. So how to get interest in them? Who is preset event? But before you go for preset event, you need to increase your visibility and increase visibility through billboard. So billboard is one. Okay, even also national materials is one. Through which increase visibility. So if national materials are some of the materials which is developed at party level. Okay, so you also look for some of the space for your candidate or maybe a sticker in that, that poster or banner. So look for that material. In that way also you can increase your visibility. Billboard and how you create a message is important. The action photo is there. Most of the time you get to see a profile photo of the candidate, which is not attractive at all. So if you put an action photo, suppose there was an ad where I have found that a candidate is usually candidate was very pro to curb all the corruption, and he is also holding a gun and pointing out some of the corrupt leaders like that way. So somehow it indicates a message. Where I have found, I forgot. Okay, so that was the action photo, or suppose a candidate with group of children. Action photos that usually said that he has some policy for children, group of businessmen. Okay, that also indicates that he has some inclination to business people and try to bring change in entrepreneur domain and all. So that is another development message which can send through rather than simply putting up photographs or a straight or portrait photographs. So this is important. Okay, so action photos are there. So this is basically to increase the visibility. Increase the visibility, and before you actually go for, okay, after you increase the visibility, you can go for a preset event to actually target those non-voters because it is not under your control. You do not know who actually come, know what kind of comments will pass. Okay, and this is not actually even meant to address the population. Okay, that through even giving a speech. So that is also one. In preset events, you do not have person who can actually give a speech. Okay, so organized event, you can definitely call that spokesperson, party person, or even the prime minister even to have a speech, a real speech for you or on your behalf or anything. And you can also bring people from the villages or persuasive any kind of convenience money, okay, giving them 200s and come and join this, Mela, come and join this event. So this is a very different technique, giving 200, 250, or 300, and to attend one meeting or attend one event. So this is what
Ma'am,
yeah.
ma'am, can we tell that Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Choro Yatra is a preset event or it's an organized?
When you say it is not organized at all. To a certain extent, yeah, it is a preset
Preset
event.
event.
Because there is also Rajyatra. Okay, this we talk about coffee program also nowadays. Okay, and earlier it is said that coffee program was highly controlled. Coffee program was highly controlled, but nowadays you also see coffee program. You not necessarily even invite the supporters on it. Okay, so make it open so anybody can join. So and also discuss about the program. So discuss about the issues. Okay, so preset events are there. Yeah, Bharat Jodo, Rath Yatra. Then you also see that these are some of this preset events. Preset events, part of preset events. Okay, so increase the visibility. Okay, good. So, okay, this is fine. And thereafter we go to the message. Okay, message. The message. How to create a message. When you talk about the message, any kind of car caravan is there. Car caravan is a part of visibility. It's in visibility. Okay, it's there. It is also, you see, you can also put it in a visibility. Even that car caravan is there. Okay, and also put in photos and all, like, that, across the car. In that way also you can increase the visibility. And also car caravan is there. So like you can actually like take the car across the constituency. You can drive the car, have a ride and all. Okay, so that is a kind of visibility comes. So you might also say this part of visibility. Rahul Gandhi is given. So these are part of visibility. Okay, not an organized one. Yeah, he has carried out, and even he's also a part of you say event which is very combined. So where you combine multiple techniques, there is also combined strategy where you combine multiple techniques because here you have this opportunity to go visibility, increase visibility, go for literature drop, go for even hands out. Okay, so literature hands out because he like stop somewhere in the middle of the road and then talk to and interact with the shopkeepers and other people. Even while he went through the villages, he also like pause himself and discuss things like that way. So it has created, you say, created some point, some conduits of creating impression about the party. So it is a combination of multiple campaign strategy. Rahul Gandhi's, you might also say it's a preset even combination of multiple strategies. Okay, then when you talk about the message, see, campaign message. So how the message should be? Message is based on the issue. Now we talk about the issue, campaign issue. First, you see, what is important to understand the issue and message. Message has to be very brief. No, it has to be very, very brief. So brevity is the point. Brief. It has to be credible, right? Credible message. How to draw a credible message is important. And then you talk about campaign. Okay. Then you see persuading. Okay. So credibility is very important. It is important how you design the credibility of decide the credibility of the message. It's important how you decide the credibility of the message. Credibility of the message comes from the background of the party and background of the candidate. Credibility of the message and how trustworthy the message is. So basically, it's based on the history of that candidate, past history of the candidate. Okay, the background of that party. Then also the way he addressed one particular issue is one credibility factors. Okay, so and whether he is honest in solving those issues or not, also credibility factors. Then you see persuading factors. Message has to be very persuading and persuadable. So these persuadable factors comes from like that emotionalization element. Okay, it can be relatable or not. So there are certain elements like gender element, patriotism element is there. So sound is there. So excitement is there or not. Excitement which can be related to energy. So anyhow, you won't like a very kind of dull, whatever, dull speech or anything. So you want excitement, you want energy. So that's what is related to persuadability or persuading. So credible, persuading, brief, then message has to be repeated. It has to be brief because you need to find out that people people and audience and even the voters could actually get the message in 10 seconds. Get the message in 10 seconds. If they take more than 10 seconds, then actually your message is not that effective. Okay, so you need to find out whether message is that much persuasive and appealing that it can like capture the heart of the audience in 10 seconds or not. So it has to be brief, has to be credible, has to be persuasive, has to be repeated again and again. Okay, so and you need to stay on the message. When you develop campaign literature, how will you solve the crime issues? How will you address the crime issues? Okay, so how will you take care about the economy? How will you increase the growth of this economy? So these strategies, when we discuss, you also need to need to repeat the message. So these are part of campaign literature, single topic campaign literature. In action, like you use action photos, you use some key points or bullet points are very very important because that helps people to help people to understand it simply. So develop some bullet points, develop some very good headings. Not my program. Don't use my program. Don't use my plan like that way. Okay. So and also like this our idea like that we also use it. It's not our idea, my plan like that way. That kind of words are not supposed to be used in campaign literature or developing a campaign message. Okay. When you talk about the campaign issues, there are multiple issues. Like it's very very important to understand the values and aptitude and attitude of the people. Now, when you talk about the values of the people maybe they look for personal freedom, they look for security, they look for economic prosperity. Okay, so these are the values. Values based on individualism, values based on communitarian ideal, values based on the common good ideal. As I have told you, politics, you need to understand politics from the point of view of common good. You need to understand politics from the point of view of individualism. You need to understand politics from communitarian or even Marxist point of view. So there are certain values of the people. People look for security. People look for like economic prosperity. When economic prosperity, people look for economic prosperity, and you see that more business, like urban development, definitely we can relate it to liberalism. Okay, or individualism. Okay, and that is one thing. And you see, Modi has also highlighted urban development plan and even post that article in Gujarat. Like in this good governance is one point. So he has met some of the criteria of well-being, that ranking of good governance, and his state has ranked top, Gujarat state from ranked top in terms of good governance. So that was is that value is associated with liberalism. Okay, so something which is associated with liberalism. So what values that voters have? Voters, you need to identify the issues that actually concern voters. So they look for basically they look for stability, they look for peace, stability, or they look for change. It's very very important. They look for change, stability, or peace. So if they look for stability, they look for peace. Okay, they want the same government, same policies to sustain. Some little modifications. If they look for change, so you need to give them something different, drastically different. Suppose there is a program, employment guarantee program of Congress government, and also you see food guarantee program was there. So which was criticized by Modi government. So initially, when Modi government came to power, it was criticized by Modi government as perversions of opera because it raised from this grassroots, social movement. All those employment means, employment guarantee program and food guarantee program actually came from that grassroots social movement. Okay, and Modi, see the strategy he has employed the strategy. He actually made all the movement, social movement, anti-development. Hence, I have told you that when you discuss about the populism, you see this Modi style of populism is interesting because his style of populism only rests in his leadership cult and leadership style, his narrative, the way he describes himself. But the thing is that his whole strategy is highly anti-populist. He is also anti. He said that all the movements are anti-developmental. Even Narmada Bacha Andolan is anti-developmental movement. And Congress worked on the employment guarantee program and that the food guarantee program are simply perversions of opera because it's still this program stem from or rise from those you see that grassroots movements. Okay, but again he has organized this Rozgar Mela, employment generation, because that is one issue. Now, how to deal with the issue and how to deal with the issue differently from your opponent is very, very important. So hence when you talk about this message, is one thing is very important is contrast. Apart from repetition, another important is contrast. So how your message is different from your different from the opponent. So contrast and difference is very, very important. Okay, how your message is different. What difference is there in your message? If you're looking for stability also, so what are those aspects you will be focusing on? And then you see um, one more thing is there, contrast. Then attitude towards the party. So positive or negative attitude towards the party, optimistic or pessimistic towards the party, or even you see trustworthy or mistrustful, or trustful or mistrustful towards the government. So it's very, very important to identify if the if the if the if the voters are trustful or mistrustful to the government. It's very, very important to it is very, very important to identify. Okay, in order to identify the mood of the voters. So whether they're interested to vote or apathetic. Their positive, negative feelings is very, very important. Optimistic and pessimistic feeling is important. Leadership style is important. Whether voters want a young, dynamic leader and who is highly charismatic, or a traditional veteran leader. Traditional veteran experienced leader who can provide them some of the paternalistic instinct or advise them, also guide them, okay, and help them to go with the stability. Or they want a change with this young dynamic leader. Change is actually associated with young dynamic leader. Okay, so not with a veteran leader. They cannot even change. And change is also propaganda material in that case. Okay, when you talk about this, like your preference for a leader with traditional charismatic, like not traditional is not associated with charisma. Because traditional is associated with that paternalistic instinct. So okay, that I'm the one. I'm not going to tolerate some of it words, even like any change or any kind of transformation. Okay, but yeah, we need it for efficient performance because they have experience, right? So traditional leaders are usually associated with that stability, not change. But you see, we can actually see some of the paradigm change in our politics. Young dynamic leaders are not associated with change, where traditional leaders are associated with change, right? So that becomes a norm also. It's fine. So they have projected it that way, okay, and because of their strong campaign strategy, so we have also got persuaded.
And so when it makes this theory null and void, if that is the case,
Huh?
if that is the case, it defies this model.
What?
If we talk about India, it surely does not go in lines with this model. Like we see the traditional more traditional.
Yeah.
So
In
it
that
does
case.
not apply in India.
No, it is not. You cannot even say that it will not apply to India. Okay, because you said there are different leadership traits, So now you see Modi is always associated with those gizmos, and you see that laptops, and he's also moving along with lion, and standing in front of a portrait of a Vivekananda. So and that is what, and also selfie trend. So those are some of the political style and narratives which are being created to persuade the voters and which are much more relatable to the youth. And the way volunteers are recruited, we call them thought, right? Because they created a legitimacy for the party, at the same time they delegitimized the other opponent party, right? The way they have delegitimized the opponent party by creating an us versus them. That's a polarization.
But also, did not the opposition
It is a part of when you say us versus them. No, this is a part of this is a part of a very traditional technique.
But ma'am, did not the opposition itself run itself to the ground, like the Congress, if we say, the dynasty way of politics.
Sorry?
Congress was the main party in UP rather in BJP at the central level of state. Did not it itself dug its own grave, because it went because of the inner party politics, but not because of the opposition, it was because of the party
Yeah,
itself.
we often say that because of this internal politics, they have weaknesses. Yeah, that is one thing.
On the
Because
central
of
level,
this
not
weaknesses
only-
inside the party. Okay, that is also true. That is true. We cannot simply say that because, but opponent, you see, the BJP has also a very, very, very accomplished campaign plan. So they have a constant campaign plan. So constantly they are campaigning. So campaigning the issues, and also when you develop a message, contrast is very very important, and you need to develop a quadrant. When you develop message, you need to develop quadrant. Let me tell you. But in that quadrant, what you are supposed to look at is what we say about us. Okay.
I have a.
What is? Okay, I was reading. So what we say about us is important. Then what we say about them. Okay. What we say about us is important. What we say about them. What we say about them is negative point. Right? From party point of view, and if you look at this opponent and uh, uh, look at this opponent in developing this campaign line. So you see what we say about them, what they say about us, and what we say about them, and what they say about them. Okay, so here on that basis, it is very very important to understand. Okay, so when you say that all those leadership traits may not be applicable, you see, level of applicability depends upon a lot of context. So that environment and how plans are being executed. Okay, the agenda is being created. Here it is not even the agenda, it is the propaganda. Okay, how certain strategies are being carried out, like a populist strategy is being carried out, like Vikas Purush, you see, Hindu Sangha, that is what? I forgot that word. How Hindus, Samrajya Samiti or that was, you need to verify, huh? Where he actually told all the people from all castes, tribals, and create like who has some of the crowning loyalties to BJP, but create a bigger platform for all the caste communities, tribals, etc. So that is also a campaign strategy or a populist strategy. Okay, and that's how somehow you can say they're very very successful. So because development, man, is also coincided with different kinds of messages and the kind of meanings that they have developed. So सबका साथ सबका विकास. Okay, and you see that मेरे लिए गंगा आपके लिए गंगा एक है ना, गंगा नदी है, मेरे लिए गंगा माँ है, emotionalization. Okay, element Sahajada is there. Sahajada, which is equated to Rahul Gandhi and like Gandhi dynasty. Okay, so instead of Sahajada, he developed another message that Mamuli Chaibala. Mamuli Chaibala as well as, you see, Garib Maa Ka Beta. You see, emotionalization. Okay, these elements you have seen. Okay, so see the traditional leader, the way they have created the message. Okay, and also you see this Rastashar mein dube log. So he is the one who is going to eliminate all the corruption.
Chaukidar.
Okay. Chowkidar, yeah. Then you say lifter, upchart. Okay. Retard who have joined retard who have joined a different party. Secular. Pseudo-secularism, that what Advani has developed this term. Pseudo-secularism. That term was actually coined by Advani, Ramakrishna Advani. Okay. Now Modi has come up with secular politics. That means secular. Okay. That is vote bank politics. Right. Macaulay Putra, who was speaking English, you are Macaulay Putra. So you have that orientation to English only. Macaulay Putra. Okay, like that, Sepoy. So these are some of the terms, the way terms from which means or slogans from which he he persuades voters. Okay, so populism is very very important part of this campaign, and it is important to study what we say about us. We won't say anything bad about us. Okay, but if we won't say anything bad about us, we are politicians actually. As an academician, I would definitely criticize a lot about me and us. Okay, so that is the difference. So what we say about us, what we say about them. Okay, here you have a positive and negative conduits you need to read. What we say about them. Okay, and what they say about them, that is their opinion. We say about them is all negativity. That is negative political act. So these are the messages I have told you. We say about them and all the negative points. Secular, that is a secular polity. Later, after you see the message, we say about them negative points. What they say about them, that is their opinion. Suppose they are saying that we are very honest. That means we are corrupt. Like if they are saying that we are honest, very honest, that means the other party opponent is corrupt. So you look into their opinion. Okay, so that way. So then what we say about them, sorry, what they say about them. Fine, we say about them.
Yeah, while saying negative for good reason.
Negative for this opponent, because it's a tag of word. In politics, so definitely you have to say negative about. So you cannot be very
But it can be a positive for the voters.
Negative for the opponent. The message which is negative against the opponent, so that you can get the vote. So if like we are saying I'm very honest, then definitely a political party who is standing against me, that means they will definitely question. That means I am the one who is corrupt. You say. They'll try to even like put me down by saying other like negative, developing some of the negative like message. So that is his or her opinion. So it is not about the voters. It is about what we say about us, what we say about them means opponent. Okay, what they say about them, and what
They say about
They say about us.
they say about us. So what they say about us is very very important, based on which we can develop the message. Okay, and we can develop some contrast. So when you discuss about the traits, and Modi, you see he has developed those rich side and bite size messages, like 2Z, 3D, right? 3D development, divide and demographic, 2Z, zero effect, zero defect, like that way, in order to persuade the young. So that is what you see, the strategy which is there. So you cannot even say this applicability of certain traits is. But the thing is that he's a traditional one, but he has been like working with these young volunteers, right? He's also recruiting young volunteers. He tried to like appeal and sway them, and that is one thing. So that's how he has actually shown that young dynamic side maybe. Okay, but you see that in India somehow we can get to see that the young dynamic people are associated with like that's what stability, and traditional person is associated with change, right? Transformation.
Actually,
পরিবর্তন আবার।
both traditional is also responsible for stability as well as for change. Because if you see young leaders, there are not many young leaders in politics in India at the hierarchical level. If you see the union cabinets and everything, it is usually designated by older politicians, not the youngest. They don't have credibility.
It depends upon the system, You cannot even see. The thing is that one system has been running for long.
It's not even about the system. It's like they do not know how to campaign.
No.
Yes, Kadhai Kumar, all these, they were good when they came, but now they don't have any credibility. It is because of their actions.
You cannot say credibility is something which also derived from the people. So it's all about acknowledgement from the people.
That's what no, they don't know how.
So ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है we are persuaded by those wrong messages. ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है ना?
But considering youth knows, no, they are well aware. Like we know what's propaganda, we can differentiate between what's what and what's not.
Do you really think? that you can differentiate between propaganda, what's agenda or what's propaganda, what's right and wrong. You really think so? Because right now, even till now, I cannot even say that I can differentiate between what is right and what is wrong.
You know what you can follow and you know what you know.
No. Anyways, today I'll leave because I have other